I'm dividing into four sort of like phases. It's basically like a relationship. So the beginning is how she got charmed. Message in a massage. Glass slippers click, toasting in unison. Her foot notes the pattern my palm prints work in, even in stillness. She moves me. Arm folds, I am bear witness to presence unwrapping as the future unfolds. She says, "You're not that bad at putting words on pieces of paper. But I need to learn the art of writing feelings into her body. Parts of speech fall short when touch is the medium. Speech parts when breath speaks. Sweet sparks fly when wind and earth meet. Her spine is my conductor. Enlightening senses to decode a hidden symphony. Sound waves expand and fill the room as her sighs sing for me. Well-oiled machine lies still as I iron out the dents and mend the chinks. Tin Man finally finds a heart and the air is disturbed by the sound of rusty blinks. Now start at the base of the spine. Move up slowly. Fan out at the shoulders and move down the sides. Synchronize breathing. Use palm and if need be, knead the skin to source out where heavy tension hides. Massage the body and send a message to the soul. And when the body is fully relaxed, speak these words to the whole. The body is 70% sea, hence we move in knots. Ties are tightened when we loosen the knots. A marriage of true minds can be found in these lines. See past the mind's limit. It's only the skin that wrinkles, not the spirit. Thank you. The poem I wrote as a reflection of my capacity to love her. Psalms and Poems. Take, I've lost count. When you speak of us, tell them this. Tell them her skin taught my nose the scent of distilled sun rays. And on some days, her scent caught me by the toes and had my tongue stumbling over words, trying to sum ways in which my spirit orbits her temple on Sundays. Tell them she is my prayer mat. My flaws unfold before her feet, my stubborn logic, the breath, her lucid emotions, the movement. We are a meeting of our sunners, our sum summons art's rudders to steer our stream of consciousness into the cosmos, because God knows our beginning was not in the word. Direct from the void came a primordial dialect, devoid of consonants and vowels. In the beginning was the absurd. A Genesis created in the silence of our sound minds. We exhaled each other out of existence and into the living. Our chemistry, an alchemy of gold turned back to lead. Our synergy, our scars eulogy, our symmetry, an ilk army of old souls who spent hours observing way more than is said. Our oddities, the iron in our soul that fades. Heavy thoughts worn as epaulets, we recognized each other by the downward slant in our shoulder blades. I measure her radiance in light of past hurts. She sees past my magic and knows the fear I hide behind my sleight of words. I bring stillness to her hard line. Tell her her mind moves me. Tell her kinesis is the secret name for the spirit animal that guards her bloodline. Tell them I know very little in these amorphous of times, but one thing I know for sure is that she's my woman, my guide, my omen turned prophecy, my hide, stretched over these hollow bones when my skin finds my beaten spirit too expansive to hide. If you're gonna speak of us, at the very least, tell them this. Thank you. The breakup. on 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 gardening and emotions. Trying to win over her heart is the equivalent of trying to shovel rain back up into the clouds with a spade. Nail and Thor's hammer in hand, I'm trying to pin down the wind. I'm using a worn piece of stocking on a mission to patch up this punctured porcelain tongue or inhale a scented pun, a flower with self-raising petals in the absence of a self-centered sun. My confidence is wilting from tilling her emotional fields, hoping that maybe my reasoning will harvest her love organs. No, sir. I said I'm running out of words. My lisp is still in season, but her lips aren't here for the picking. I last saw her running out, grabbing my skin off of this skeletal coat stand, left me all exposed muscle with no will, just raw nerve caught in a sandstorm. She fell for me. But I was her blind-eyed line with a tattered cloud for a mane, calculating how to land on my paws when I fell from her. I used to gather clouds in her name, wrote letters on the surface of her still stream of thought, a dream of sorts, a machine with chords, trying to convince her that I too can feel. Yes, of course, my scars meant I'm Clark Kent, more man than steel. That there's more to me than just a chip on my shoulder. For her, I used to chisel fantasies in my spare time. I would sandpaper my ideas smooth, the better for her mind to ingest. I am no marksman or assassin, but I can assemble handheld emotions that explode at your touch. I taught her how to hold my breath. She taught me how to hold her tongue. We rarely held hands in public. Sadly, no matter the scale, one can never measure the love in the heart, the heavy thoughts in the brain, the intuition in the gut, the height of a wave of emotion, or how dim a man feels when the love of his life lights up in the presence of a newfound lover. You feel as though the ground gives way, your heart sinks past your stomach and gets lodged somewhere between your wobbly knees. No matter how many times you try to pull yourself up, it's pointless. When your head occasionally still drowns between her thighs, gasping for attention, like a beached whale that had confused its fins for wings in love with an albatross, I miss running beside her. All I ever do now is try and keep up or map her footprints, trying to figure where her headspace is at. Look, it's a beautiful thing that when the spirit falls in love, the body feels it can defy gravity. But don't wear your heart on your sleeve for too long. It gets prone to injury and infection when it's not protected by the chest cavity. So I'm done. Figure maybe I need to tend to myself before I tend to other people's gardens, let alone their hearts. So I have a spade in my hand, a shovel for backup, a wheelbarrow filled with borrowed will, starseeds in my pocket, the night sky needs to be tilled. Everything in between I leave up to God's will. Thank you. So last poem, I am performing at a poetry session. After performing at the poetry session, I get paid 50 rands for performing at this poetry session. Right? I'm at tech, well, not at tech actually, I've left tech, but I was performing as a favor to this old poetry group I used to be a part of. And I go home and it's late, So, I'm rushing, I'm trying to get my kid from creche because it's really late, around about like 6 o'clock, it's winter time frame. And as I'm picking him up, we're walking home. So it's not that far from home. As I'm carrying him, he says, I didn't think you were gonna come today. So in my head, I'm like, fuck. This is the thing that was at risk. And I'm like, I got 50 rands for it in my pocket, you know? So I go home, like that night, I remember my son was lying here and I wrote incense. Like that is how that poem, like over there's a disc of mine. That whole album was inspired by this piece, right? So like put it together but from that, man, also side note, Word and Sound is the place where I launched that album. There was not a lick, not a cent that came out of my pocket. But Afura was like, yo, when are you launching your album? Let's go there. Let's do this. And he put it together. And I literally walked in there and I walked out of there having sold this. And not once did Afura be like, yo. But no, like listen to the type, listen to the man, like the track record, man. Like from that, like came Poetry Africa, came me going to Wales for the first time, came like a crazy shitload of things, man. And thank you. Like you and Kakaza, thank you. Yeah, man, like wild. But anyway, let's get into the piece, man. Yeah, I'm Black man cry. Don't make me pull a Tyrese. Don't make me pull a Tyrese. Black man cry. Black man cry. But I'm also hella soft because having walked through this, right? We're walking through this in maybe in a 15-minute span, 30 minutes, you can go through the whole material. And there's been an energy of loss, man, of death, of artists that are not, like we were saying, like Maisa, because I was sitting there listening to poems that were that dedicated to Maisa Jenkins, and I'm thinking of Nkosinatika, I'm thinking of Ebenezer, who just passed now, you know. And also I lost my brother last year, you know. So all these things have been sort of making me appreciate the fact that I'm here. I'm here. I get to get on stage. I get to, something as simple as bathing my son and looking at my niece and thinking, man, she doesn't have that opportunity anymore, you know? So every space that I'm moving into, I'm having that sort of mindset, like, yo, I'm lucky to be here. And just also a thing that I hope everybody can walk out of here doing, moving forward. Study samba to hand. And you never know when it's your last time, guys. So how's Wakatu? Study samba to hand. You know? And lehape, even in that, who study saying handle is that be on good terms with each other. You never know when it's the last time. But anyway, incense. The funniest thing to fallen Martians is that coal and diamonds are actually distant cousins separated by time. Bloodlines are tables like cocaine sniffed by perception to elevate your conscious highness from the unconscious peasant. We use telescopes to shorten the distance between visual interpretation and the surface of the furthest of planets, but I say these things because I'm an artist, right? For lack of better gestures, I use words. I trade silver tongues for air pockets, but my income only allows me to journey the distance from hand to mouth. Month in and month out, my mental odometer clocks the centimeters traveled. The stomach notes the small harvest while the muscles fall apart, but the publishers keep calling me though, leaving voice messages like, hey, don't let thoughts tamper with your inner workings. We need to collect your spirit and dust it for print. We want readers feeling like they are reading too much into your works. The critics should note you as one who has the demeanor of a prince, even when wearing the clothes of a servant. And when on stage, the spirit children should sense the head of a lion, the body of a goat, and the tail of a serpent. This art form allowed me to appear different. I mostly stand like the accused in the lineup, but my face changes every time the viewer blinks. I'm the modern day author of magical books where the cover remains the same, but the content keeps changing, adapting to the reader's feelings. Yesterday, she loved the body movement, just didn't really know the content. Today, he digs the cursive approach, loving how it's hard to distinguish when my words end and my soul begins. Tomorrow, you'll be questioning how deep my spirit really runs. When I finally confess that the pedestal you've put me on is bad for my lungs, the air up here is too thin. Thick and tough skin is pointless when one is constantly running out of breath. But the flying termites keep sending word though, reminding me that footprints are hard to note when wings are the mode of transportation, and I've noted that my art has a loyal following while I struggle to keep up with myself. I mean, I'm fighting more and listening less, I'm writing less and feeling more. The bags under my eyes feel heavier by the day, but the needle on my scale keeps receding. My mother questions the sky I fell from, while my son worships the ground I walk on. I've misplaced the coordinates to my woman's heart, and my dreams are war torn, but I'm an artist, right? For lack of better gestures, I use words. Look, you can keep your glowworms. I have a chest full of words to capture everything from sadness, madness, isolation, and love. The tip of a crescent moon might be the loneliest place in the universe, but it's the best place to fish for falling dreamworks. And I keep fishing. I keep fishing. I keep fishing, hoping to reel in lighter versions of me. For being Mutle has, is, and will always be one of the hardest obstacles on this side of the universe. Thank you.